Hey grade 11s, how's it going? This is our first video lecture. We had our Skype call, I think earlier this week. You guys written your tests. I hope all of you have submitted your assignments. If not, remember I gotta have it by 3 p.m. today or you're getting a 0. Okay. Cool guys, so we're going to carry on from where we took off. So the next topic is topic 6 on page 126. And it is maps, plans, and other representations of the physical world, scale, and maps. Okay, so in this section we're going to revise our different bar graphs, scale graphs, number graphs, and we're going to use them to convert distances from the map into real life, and also from real life into actual distance on the map. Okay, so I'm going to start with unit 1 scale. We are on page 126. I want you guys to follow me while I'm going through the book. So get your book, page 126. So revision scales can be expressed in 3 different ways. Okay, so the first way to express a scale is a verbal scale. So I could say that 1 centimeter on the map represents 10 kilometers in real life. Okay, that's a verbal scale. What you should notice is that the units are not necessarily the same. I said 1 centimeter on the map is 10 kilometers in real life. Okay, so when we are dealing with number and bar scales, you've got to work in the same units. Okay, anyway, let's continue. A number scale. So if we look at the table, it says 1 centimeter to 50,000 meters. Okay, so a number scale, I'll do it for you here. So 1 centimeter to 50,000 meters. Okay, again, when we are dealing with number and bar scales, we want to be working in the same units. So this scale, we're going to convert to 1 centimeter, so that's your 1, which is equivalent. Remember, the first number always represents what we are measuring on the map. Okay, so 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter or 1 whatever it is that you measure on the map will be equivalent to this many in real life, which we're obviously going to work it out now. So 50,000 meters, we have to convert to the same units. How many centimeters in the meter? Well, 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So to go from meters to centimeters, we have to multiply by 100. So 1 centimeter or the scale is equivalent to 50,000 multiplied by 100 centimeters. And then once we get it into the common units, we can drop the units because it's the ratio that's important. Once we get into the same units, we don't care what units we are using as long as the ratio is equivalent in the units. Okay, so this would mean that 1 is equivalent to 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this gives us 5 million. Okay, and this is a number scale that could appear at the bottom of a map, right? Let's say a map of South Africa. So what this is telling me that if I take out my ruler and I measure whatever distance on my ruler, it could be 3 centimeters. Those 3 centimeters will be equivalent to 3 times 5 million centimeters in real life on the ground. Okay, so we work from different units to the same units. Once we get that ratio, we drop the units and we stay just at the ratio. Okay, so that is our number scale. And then the next one is the bar scale. So the bar scale looks something like this. Okay, it gives you a little bar. And it's divided into blocks, and the blocks are shaded, or rather, white and black, white and black. And then it gives you 0, 1, and 2 kilometers. Okay, so on this bar scale, what's important is that it gives you the units. So if let's say we have a map on this board and I need to measure, so I take my ruler and I measure this much. Okay, so let's say this is our South Africa and I want to measure a distance from there to there. Okay, that's the distance on the map. So I go to this distance and I say, right, there's my ruler, I measure this much, which is 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters, it doesn't matter, but I'm holding that distance there. Then I take that distance off the map and I put it onto the bar scale like that. So now my mark comes up to somewhere over there. So this tells me that my distance on the map is, well, if this is a whole kilometer, that's half a kilometer. So this could be maybe 400 meters. So, okay, obviously our scale isn't correct. That's definitely not 400 meters in South African map. But the point is that whatever distance you measure, you take that distance onto the bar scale, and you can now work out what that distance is by measuring. Okay. Or you could say that in this actually, sorry guys, in the textbook there is a little mistake in this question. So let me just find it again. So what it says here in the bar scale, oh actually there's a mistake in the worked example, I'll show you just now. Alright, so what I was saying earlier is that what we could do is we could also measure this distance on the bar scale, right? And let's say we get that it is 1 centimeter. All that it's telling us is that 1 centimeter on the map is equivalent to 1 kilometer on the ground. Okay, so there's a few different ways to use the bar scale. Okay, you could get a particular measurement to be this many kilometers, and then you measure something. Let's say we measure 5.3 centimeters there, right? And we find that 1 centimeter on this bar scale is equivalent to 1 kilometer. Therefore, 5.3 centimeters is equivalent to 5.3 kilometers. Okay. Yeah? Cool. Alright, so that is the bar scale. So now if we go to the worked example, right underneath it, it says, use the bar graph to determine the real lengths of the following lines which represent distances on the map. Okay, so solution, so we have a bar scale, we have a particular line. So what they do is they say the actual measurement of the line segment is 1.2 centimeters. 1 centimeter on the map represents half a kilometer. Okay, that is the mistake, okay? Because if you take your ruler and you measure this bar graph, okay, you measure the whole bar graph, you'll get 2 centimeters. So 2 centimeters is equivalent to 2 kilometers. Therefore, 1 centimeter is equivalent to 1 kilometer. But they are saying that 1 centimeter is equivalent to half a kilometer. Okay, that is their mistake. Okay, so when you're going through that worked example, keep that in mind. Okay, it should be 1 centimeter is 1 kilometer on the bar scale. Right, and then the second line again, they measure and the same thing. They multiply it by 1 kilometer, so 3.2 becomes 3.2 kilometers. Okay, right, let's continue. Right, so I'm going to read on top of page 127. So it says, on maps, models, or any representation where the length in reality is reduced, scales are used to indicate by how much an object or distance between two places has reduced from its actual size. Okay, so let's look at the worked example. It says number 1, the distance between two buildings in a town on a map measures 4.8 centimeters on a 1 to 20,000 map. What is the distance on the ground as the crow flies? So now they're telling you that they measure on the map, they get 4.8 centimeters. How much is that in real life? Well, we have a scale of 1 to 20,000. So if we measure 1, whatever that distance is, say 4.8 centimeters, we have to multiply that by 20,000 in order to get the equivalent distance on the ground. Okay, so for number 1, we say 4.8 times 20,000 and we get 96,000. 96,000 centimeters, divide by 100 and we get 960 meters. So that is question 1. Number 2, the bulk ore carrier, the MV Treasure, can aground off the west coast of South Africa ran aground. Sorry, let me start that again. The bulk ore carrier, the MV Treasure, ran aground off the west coast of South Africa in 2000. The resulting oil spill affected 40 kilometers of coastline and severity affected the country's penguin population. A, on a map of 1,000 to 50,000, how many kilometers does 1 centimeter on the map represent? Okay, so we have a scale of 1 to 50,000. How many kilometers does 1 centimeter on the map represent? Well, 1 centimeter on the map is 50,000 centimeters in real life. Now we need to convert 50,000 centimeters into kilometers. So if we look at the answer, we are dividing by 100 to get to meters, and then by 1,000 to get to kilometers. And our answer is half a kilometer on the ground. Okay, so I'm going through the worked example on page 127 if you guys are lost. Okay, number 2b, what is the length of the oil spill on this map? Okay, what is the length of the oil spill on the map, not in the real life? In real life, they told us that how many kilometers were covered? 40 kilometers of coastline was covered. Okay, so 40 kilometers on the ground is how many centimeters on the map? Okay, so what is the length of the oil spill on this map? So we have to go backwards. So half a kilometer on the ground is represented by 1 centimeter on the map. So we got that exactly from the previous part because we worked out that half a kilometer on the ground is 4.8 centimeters. Okay? No, sorry, that was the previous one. 1 centimeter on the map represents half a kilometer. So if we have, what do we have? Oil spill, which is 40 kilometers. So we take the 40 kilometers, multiply by or divide by a half, and we get 80 centimeters on the map. So it's basically going from the map to the ground and from the ground to the map. Okay, that's what you guys are required to do for this kind of questions. All right, so let's go to exercise 1 and I'll do some of these with you and the rest you guys are going to do for homework. Okay, so exercise 1, number 1. Okay, so it says number 1, calculate the distances in kilometers on the ground of the following lengths which are measured on the map with a scale of 1 to 50,000. Okay, so step 1, let's get the scale out. The scale is 1 to 50,000. Okay, so 1 whatever on the map is 50,000 of that same whatever on the ground. Okay, so exercise 1A. Okay, so we have 3.8 centimeters on the map. 3.8 centimeters, how much is that in kilometers on the ground? Okay, well, let's find out how much it is in centimeters first. So 3.8 centimeters multiplied by 50,000. Okay, so that will give us how many centimeters we have on the ground. Okay, let's do that. Let me get my calculator. Okay, 3.8 times 50,000 gives me 190,000 centimeters. Okay, right, but the question said to us, tell me the distance in kilometers, not centimeters. Okay, so we have to convert this to kilometers. Okay, so let's figure out, let's go from centimeters to meters. How do we do that? To go from centimeters to meters, we divide by 100 because 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So to go from centimeters to meters, we divide by 100. Guys, remember what we did either last year or beginning of this year when we were doing conversions? We were talking about big to small or small to big. Okay, so 1 we multiply, so if we go from if we have 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, we are going from big units to small units. What do? We multiply. If we go from small units to big units, we divide. Okay, guys, that's what I want you to remember when you're doing these things. And now if you get stuck, do a little example, right? Say, right, you know what 1 meter is, it's 100 centimeters. So do this example. If I'm going from big units, meters, to small units, centimeters, I'm going to say 1 times 100 will give me 100 centimeters. Okay. Right, so here we want to go from centimeters to meters. We are going from small to big. We're going to divide. How many centimeters in a meter? 100. So we're going to divide this by 100 to get it into meters. So divide by 100, take away 2 zeros. So we have 1900 meters. Okay. Now we want to go from meters to kilometers. Okay, so again we're going from small to big, which means we are dividing. How many meters in a kilometer? 1000. Okay, so we divide by 1000. So remember, when we divide by big numbers with zeros, we just move the decimal comma back 3 units. So 1900 meters divided by 1000 will give us 1.9 kilometers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, the decimal goes there, and that gives us 1.9 kilometers. Okay. Guys, I want you to do the rest of these, B, C, and D. So it's exactly the same procedure as this, just using different numbers. Okay, so that you'll be able to do. Let's look at number 2. Calculate the lengths in centimeters on a map with a scale of 1 to 50,000 of the following actual distances. Okay, so now in number 2, we're literally doing the same thing, but we're going backwards. Okay, so what they're telling us is that, well, we're starting off with a distance of 1.9 kilometers. How are we going to get to the distance on the map? Okay, and the answer is we're going to go backwards through this process and do exactly everything backwards to get to this answer over here. Do you see? We went from this to this in the first question. Now we're going from this to this in the second question. All right, I'll do the first one for you. Okay, so we have the same scale, 1 to 50,000. I guess I shouldn't have rubbed that out. And we have a distance of 8 kilometers. Okay, so this is 2a, 8 kilometers. Right. Okay, so 8 kilometers is the distance on the ground. Okay, they are asking for us to give them the distance in centimeters on the map. So what we need to do is we need to take these kilometers, convert them into centimeters, and then apply the scale of this 1 to 50,000 to get the distance on the map. Okay, let's do that. So 8 kilometers, we have to get to centimeters. Yes, you can go straight to centimeters if you know exactly what to multiply it by. If you don't, then we're going to do it in steps. So 8 kilometers into meters, we are going from big to small. We are multiplying. So multiply by 1,000, so this will equal to 8,000 meters. Great. Now, to go from meters to centimeters, again, we're going from big to small. Therefore, we're going to multiply by 100. So this will be 8,000 times 100. I'm going to add 2 zeros, centimeters. Okay, so 8 kilometers on the ground is really 800 centimeters on the map. No, on the ground. Okay, but now remember what this scale means. It's telling us that for every 50,000 centimeters on the ground, it's 1 centimeter on the map. We have 800,000 centimeters on the ground. So what we want to know is how many times does this 50,000 go into there, and then we'll get our answer in centimeters on the map. Okay, so we're going to say that 800,000 centimeters divided by 50,000. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 80 divided by 5 is going to give us 16. 16 what? Okay, well, we had centimeters, we divided it by the scale, so the answer should still be in centimeters. So 800,000 centimeters on the ground, when we apply the scale to it, gives us 16 centimeters on the map. Okay, cool guys, so that's what I want. So the rest of question 2 you guys can do using exactly the same method. All right, number 3, 4, 5. Let's just see what else is going on there. We got and 6. Okay, so that I want you to guys try for homework. Okay, I've shown you how to convert the two scales. The rest of the questions are just word applications of this theory to real life problems that I want you to try. Okay, so exercise 1 is going to be for homework. It's not too big, but I do really want you guys to try this and get this right. Especially question 1 and 2. There shouldn't be a reason why you're not getting this right, because I've given you the example. If you get stuck, or if you work something out and you go to the back of the book and it's incorrect, try to follow the steps that I did in my videos to convert, and then apply those same steps, literally the same steps, to the situation that you have, and you should get the right answer. Okay guys, if you have any other issues, we will address them in our Skype sessions. Is it on a Wednesday? I believe so. Let me just check quickly. Yes. Okay, I see you on a Wednesday. So we'll do that next week. And when else do I see? Let me just check quickly. I'll have video lectures for you on a Tuesday. And so I only see you twice. Is that right? So once on a Friday and once on a Tuesday. Okay, so I only see you for 2 video lectures, and we have a Skype session as well. Okay. All right, cool guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and good luck with the homework. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Cool. Ciao.